Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And as many of you know, a year ago, I had the amazing privilege of meeting President Trump, now President elect Trump, at Mar a Lago. And, I remember in the days leading up to it, as you can imagine, just being so excited about it all. But as it turned out, believe it or not, as wonderful as it was, no question, meeting President Trump and the like, but actually meeting him was a bit anticlimactic for me. I have to be honest. And that's because just about an hour or so before I met him, I got to meet and have a wonderful chat with someone else who was also there to meet the great President Trump, who just so happens to be one of my all-time favorite comedy superstars and cultural icons, and that is the one and only Roseanne Barr. And Roseanne is here with us tonight to celebrate the holidays and the dawn of the new golden age that you all made possible on November the 5th. So, Roseanne, welcome. It's so good to see you again and such an honor to have you here with us.
Well, thank you so much. It's really fun to be here with you too, Dr. Steve.
Well, it's
Congratulations.
congratulate. That's right. That's right. Roseanne said congratulations before the interview. And I said, what did I do? I haven't achieved anything in a year. Oh, wait a minute. We won. We saved the country. We saved the
We saved
world.
the world. Yeah, we sure did.
Unbelievable.
We sure did.
We sure did. Yeah. Talk about, that was, I like to say November 5th was our July 13th. It was our Butler, Pennsylvania. We dodged a major bullet. Boy, and the more she cackles, the more I realize what a bullet we dodged. That's for sure.
Well, I think it was bigger than that, even. It was bigger than what happened that horrible day. It's so biblical. To me,
Yes.
it's completely biblical. And, I kind of see everything through that prism. I always
Yes.
have. But this is huger than anybody. I mean, I don't think 90, maybe 99% of people don't understand how huge it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's
It's literally
world changing.
cosmic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's God for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm going to want to talk to you about your spiritual journey as well as part of this, because I know it's a really important part of your analysis and your perspective of the world. I would be remiss all if I did not give a huge shout out to our mutual sponsor this evening, and that's shopbeam.com, particularly their wonderful Beam Dream, which
Yeah,
knocks me right. Do you use that? Do
yeah.
you do Beam?
Oh, yeah, the, salted caramel, that's the one I
Oh,
love.
there you go. Yeah,
At
yeah. I
night,
like
and you're sleeping like a baby.
it's so true. I am the worst sleep. I just can't shut my brain off. That's what
Me
and then
either.
reading makes it worse,
Yeah,
you know? So
everything makes it worse, but I don't know, it's just a nice, pleasant,
yeah,
and, a restful sleep,
it
and it's
is.
delicious. It's
It
really good
it
too. They
is. Yeah, I like the brownie batter flavor with a little
Yeah,
cream
I
in
like
there.
that.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
and I'm out like a light. So, gang, just click on that link below or scan the QR code on the screen to get the best sleep of your life. And for this Christmas season only, not only are you going to get an amazing merry discount, but you also get 3 months free to our very own Courageous Conservatives Club, where you have access to our special live Q&As as well as all kinds of exclusive content. So click the link below or scan the QR code right now. Um,
I gotta
Roseanne,
get it
yeah,
right.
can I just pick up literally like where we left off? I mean,
Yeah.
we had this amazing night at Mar-a-Lago. Ken Paxton, if you remember, he was
Oh, yeah.
there. Marjorie Taylor Greene. It really felt like something amazing was
Yeah.
happening. And now here we are on the other side of November 5th. What's your biggest takeaway from Trump's win? What were you most impressed by?
Um, I I knew it was gonna happen because I'd been going around and talking to people, doing comedy and stuff, and it just everywhere I went, everyone was for Trump. I mean, even people that, in 2020 weren't, and, so I knew it was gonna happen, but my biggest takeaway from it is that the American people, uh, acted in their best self-interest, which because of all the brainwashing and BS that they've flooded us with in the Mockingbird media, to to make us take our eye off the ball of taking care of ourselves, and that it's our money they're sending to other countries, to be for ourselves. That's the basis of self-awareness and just awareness. And I felt like they had blinded and brainwashed so many away from that, away from knowing that. They cared more about what everybody else thought of them. Well, and I don't blame them, because they were bullied if they stepped out of line at all, according to the dogma of the
Yeah.
times, but
Yeah.
shoved down their throats. But you know what? They acted for good.
Yeah.
And I think, uh, and they acted for their kids, and they
Mhm.
acted for, I believe, for the rights of women,
Mhm.
and for liberty,
Mhm.
and for the shining light of the uh, light of the world, which is the United States of America, the constitutional republic of the United States of America, which
Yeah.
I think everybody just finally understood over, especially since the Trump trials,
Yes.
understood, and it became very clear that uh, we had always heard there was a two-tiered justice system in
Mhm.
our country, and if you were an activist, which I was, and anybody who followed anything knew that there was a two-tiered
Yep.
justice system, and that it was based on class and race, and those are
Yes.
always, people who couldn't afford justice
Right.
didn't get it, and that a lot of bigots ran a lot of judgeships and
Yep.
police forces, and that was the history of our country.
Yeah.
And for some people it was easy to say, oh, those people complain too much, or oh, maybe that happens once in a while. But we all saw it with Trump.
Yeah.
We saw the inverse of it,
Yep.
and there was no denying it. And then everybody was kind of like, how did we let this happen?
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
we let it happen because we were hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Yeah.
And those are
Yeah.
strong words. They come from Malcolm X.
Yes.
And everybody just said, you know what? We're going to vote for something new and better that
Mhm.
promises to fix
Mm.
things,
Mhm. Mhm.
rather
Yep.
than stay lateral and enrich some people, enriching themselves on the misery of others and making sure to keep them miserable in order to enrich themselves on that misery. We all said, hell no.
Yep.
Hell no. We're going with what we believe this country is about, which is about one law for everybody and liberty, growth, at a golden age. Dreams coming true, you making your dreams come true. No more depression and mental illness, no more strife. Just a beautiful country that fulfills all the promises we, as the working people of this country have sent their children to fight and die for all these many years. We're going to have it now, because we decided we were capable of it, and we did the work. Because I know people were out there. I know people were out there in every state that I talked to, because the campaign asked me to call and speak to people who are doing the real work of registering. And people were out there, old people, young people, every kind of people, and they understood that, oh my gosh, it is our government and we own it. It
Yeah.
doesn't own us. Hello?
Yes.
We woke
Yes.
up.
That's right. It's called a constitutional republic, right? That's right. Or as Reagan used to say, we tell the government what rights it has. It doesn't tell us what rights we have. Have you come across Alonda Newhouse's? She writes for, is it Tablet magazine? I think she has this concept known as brokenism. She saw the 2024 election as basically brokenness versus status quoists. So everyone agreed something's just desperately wrong here. Brokenists believed that you needed some shock therapy to come from the outside. You need something like Trump and Elon Musk and Vivek and RFK and Tulsi and so forth, just come in from the outside and revamp it. They broke it, we'll fix it, kind of thing. Status quo is believed things are still broken, but they still clung to the hope that there were enough resources within the status quo for it to be able to fix the problems it creates. It's not the most but that's the way she was sort of assessing the election.
Well, I would assess it as such. Can I say a bad word?
You can. Yeah, it's Christmas time. We can do whatever we want.
Okay, here's how I see it. People who are or were previously addicted to got sober. That's my assessment. They got sober from the they thought they needed to live, and they went, hey, this doesn't really taste good.
Right.
Once I really taste it and realize what I'm eating, just because everybody else is swallowing it with both hands at 3 yards at a time, it's really.
Yeah.
And I think that, of course, that came from the bottom, not the top, not, lofty professors and such. It came from the people who do the real work that makes everything go, the people who can't, pay their bills and who are being ground into the dirt by these lofty elitists that care nothing for the people who do that work and pay for it all.
Which unfortunately many of the professors are part of. They're part of that elite. Yeah.
It's the worst abusive boyfriend you could ever be in a relationship with.
Yes.
And the women just went, I'm packing my bags and I'm going to leave. And that means I have to go register a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, the women of America woke up too, because they are sick and tired of being humiliated as some kind of a national pastime.
Yeah.
We're sick of it. And we're sick of the state believing they own our children if we send them to their crappy schools. We're sick of that. We're sick of that. They created these little ghettos to keep people so they could do experiments on them. I mean, I really think that the Democrat Party is the Nazi Party. And I was a Democrat and I left it when I saw way too many parallels there. And so for me, it was, are we going to become, I got to close this window. The guy next to me is building.
Oh, yeah, you bet. You go right ahead. You go right ahead. I could do another Beam Dream ad, right? Make sure you guys click on that link below, shopbeam.com. Try their Beam Dream in particular. I absolutely love that product. It helps me sleep all night long. There you go, Roseanne. I was able to throw in another plug in there.
I heard you. That was a good timing. But, I was just getting more and more concerned for this old game plan that has played out so many times. It played out in Stalinist Russia and it played out in Nazi Germany. And it was like going by the book, and I was terrified because I didn't want that for America. And I've seen it coming for a long time in little tiny steps. It always goes in steps. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I was so happy because I realized that good won.
Yes.
That's no small thing.
That's right. That's right. That is certainly no small thing, especially in a fallen world like this, as it were. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're actually
You know what that means biblically, if I can tell you?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to other students of Torah who are my friends and are this one great rabbi. He is just great. His name's Rabbi Carson, and you can find him on YouTube. He gives great lectures. He has about 1,000 of them on holidays and all kinds of good stuff. But
I love
he said what this means, because America is so important to the world, and it was like on the brink of falling. It was like a near-death experience, kind of.
Yeah.
And he said what this means is that we chose good That means, because stuff on earth always happens, according to Judaism, it happens after there's a trial in heaven.
Oh, wow.
Then the
Wow.
stuff happens on earth,
Right.
because that's the one, he's the judge, and he decides, we don't.
Right.
But
Right.
the rabbi said that we chose good means that the Satan lost his case.
Ooh.
And
Oh, I love it.
isn't that great?
Oh
He
my, that
lost
gives me
his
chills. Yeah.
case in the
Well,
higher court where God is the judge. He's allowed to plead his
wow.
case
Yeah,
forever.
like within Job, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
when he's yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So
But
this strikes at the heart of how cosmic this was.
yes, because that means he's lost.
Yeah.
He has lost this battle that everybody always talks about. It's a spiritual war between good and evil. The guy lost upstairs in
Yeah.
the court, the higher court, and that means
Wow.
so much. Now we will, and we are. You can see that. I can see it everywhere. We already are so changed, just that happened,
Isn't
even
it
though
amazing?
conscious of. Yeah, because everybody's like, okay, now I mean, every place I go, people are not just going, oh, I'm gonna buy a new car. They're saying stuff like this. I'm gonna start an organization. And these are just regular people. These are not, you know, billionaires or nothing. Just my neighbors and stuff are going, you know what? I think I could put together a group that would, people are being more giving, kinder, more good.
Yes.
It's just
More good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
Good
so good.
wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's so
It
huge.
and I notice you're using the term as it were, the people. The people. You from what I think we were talking earlier, from 2012, when you actually ran for president. You've been on the front lines of a political realignment that's been going on. It's been very frustrating to get it to manifest itself in the numbers that we can imagine it. But in many ways, it seems to me that you were on the cutting edge of this rising populist wave where we redefine the political divide from its traditional horizontal divide, left versus right, Democrats versus Republicans, and it gets redefined vertically, where it's the people versus this elite corrupt political class that rules for its own power and affluence. Can you just talk a little bit? I mean, and you've had RFK on your podcast, a wonderful podcast, by the way. Again, click on the link below to subscribe to Roseanne's podcast. Nicole Shanahan, I think you called her your new bestie. She's amazing. She's incredible. I love how Maha and MAGA are
Yeah.
overlapping. Can you talk about that? This realignment that we're seeing in real time. I mean, you were there really in many ways at the very beginning of it.
Yeah, I was always that kind of a thinker, and it was funny because I always found myself pretty much to be uh the average American thinker, you know. I just maybe thought deeper into things than other people because I was looking for jokes.
Right.
But
Right.
I knew I was just an average American thinker and had some common sense.
Right.
And I didn't need to lie all the time because I wanted to fix problems. I had a whole bunch of kids and not a lot of money, so of course I wanted to fix problems. So that comes from common sense comes from that. I didn't go, how can I shuffle these problems so that I can thereby attain more stock? You know what I mean? It was just common
Yeah.
sense. And
Yeah.
so it I that's been like a gift to me, and I just always knew I was supplying the every man, every woman point of view thing, because everybody pretty much thinks like me,
Right. Right.
especially people who, from, uh, you know, working class backgrounds who had to figure out a lot of stuff to keep going, you know?
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
very smart, and then that was one thing when I was a kid that used to really make me mad when I watched TV and it would show working people as being real dumb, and that
Yeah.
really ticked me off when I was just a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if I'm ever going to get on TV there, I'm going to show how smart we are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a lot of the driving force behind my show and why I did it, because that's where the joke is when I guess it's laying power to waste or popping the hypocrisy of people who think that a whole bunch of people are, what did she call us? What did Hillary Clinton call us? I can't
Oh,
remember the word.
deplorables. Yes,
And
yes.
they really do
Basket of
think like that of
deplorables. Oh
people.
gosh.
They really do think Trump supporters are garbage and stuff.
Right.
I mean, they really do.
Right.
And
Right.
yet we're way smarter than any of them, and we
That's
don't
for
have to
sure.
lie.
That's for sure. That's
And
for
this
sure.
showed it. That was another thing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
proved it, and he won
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
popular vote too, because they were going to be able to say so much. They were going to say, well, at least Hillary won the popular vote. Well, yeah, because she cheated like hell and owned all the machines. I mean,
That's
you can't even say the truth. But
that's
they
right.
can't even do that.
That's right.
Isn't
That's
that
right.
great?
Oh,
Their
it is.
bullshit ran out. It really did. They tried to bullshit everybody into thinking that Biden won in 2020, and
Right.
if you even questioned it, you went to prison.
Exactly. Oh, we knew that on YouTube especially. Yeah, that's for sure.
And they don't think the American people saw that two-tiered system. They
Right.
think we're too dumb to even see it,
Right. Right.
but we
Right.
weren't.
Right. We certainly weren't. It's so
Ah,
good. And you just mentioned that the common sense element to it. Just think about the way they treated us during COVID and Fauci and so forth. The fact that we would say, "Hey, you need to justify your public policies based on common sense so that the people can participate in those policies." We were treated like heretics when we talked that way. They're like, "No, we." They acted literally as if they were bishops or
yeah, they
kings
did.
that
They
had a
did.
special anointing of knowledge by virtue of
Yes.
their ordination. It was the
Well,
most insane thing
they are
imaginable.
knights. They are knights in some secret societies that they're all involved in. you
Right.
know but I was going to tell you where I figured it out most is the reason I ran for president in 2012 is because I was a farmer in Hawaii, and they were trying to grow their franken seeds next to our organic seeds, and it was Monsanto was using Roundup, and the state was coming by and spraying Roundup on our organic stuff. Well, we had no say in it, so I got uh, politicized then and went and got with a bunch of farmers on the island. And I said, because Hawaii is under a trust. The Hawaiian children are under a trust of the Queen, and it was for their health. So I said, wait a minute, has the state of Hawaii under the Queen Liliuokalani Trust for the children of Hawaii, has the state in her name for the children, the keiki here, have they done studies of the effects of Roundup on the children here? And everybody poo-pooed me and go, well, of course, because science, right?
Yeah.
That's a science university there in Hawaii. So I searched it, Dr.
Ah, there
Steve,
you go. Yeah,
and guess
yeah,
what? There
yeah,
was not one
yeah,
study
yeah,
by
yeah,
in the trust of the Hawaiian Children's Health by the state of Hawaii, because Monsanto pays them all.
yeah.
And don't you know, when our group reported that to the city council, we kicked Monsanto off the big island of Hawaii.
Wow.
And when I saw how common sense, when
Yeah,
applied, can change stuff, I decided, by gosh, I'm going to run for president, and that's why I ran, because
I love it.
I wanted people to know common sense can cure every problem. Stop
Yeah.
making it illegal, you dumb sons of a blank blank. Stop making common sense. But you know how they did it, Steve? George Soros made
Mhm.
small government illegal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Localized government. Nope. It's got to be top down managerialism. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And that is what people don't know of why they overturned Roe v. Wade, because that was not a bill that came from the people.
Right.
That
Right.
was that was judicial fiat, where
Right.
those same guys like Fauci sat in a room and decided to make law, and that's not our form of government. So
Right.
women should be ecstatic that 3 or 4 judges don't decide their health and their
Exactly.
body, but instead they're all up in arms over it. But they didn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a problem running for the shots, did they? That's massive mind control of idiocy.
It's true. It's true.
I
But
get sick
you
of it sometimes.
well you but you I mean I think again I think you really put your finger on the solution when you said, "So I searched. So I searched." That's techno-populism.
Yes, it
That's
is. Absolutely.
the internet has radically democratized information, and it liberates us from any dependence on the legacy media or the old government, university bureaucracies or the HHS or the CDC. They don't have a monopoly over information anymore. So that common sense now has a friend in the internet. I used to work at the George Peabody Library in Baltimore. It's
I
called
want a Peabody.
you won a Peabody. I know you've
Yeah.
won a few things. You won a Peabody. Is it the same guy? Because he's everywhere. I've noticed he's like in New Haven. He's in Baltimore. I think it's the same guy. It's like a
Yeah.
19th century benefactor. This is when the ultra wealthy actually used their money to build music conservatories and museums and churches and
Instead
synagogues.
of pedophile islands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the total opposite of our modern globalist wealth that does not. What does Larry Fink ever do, for heaven's sakes? But that they call that library the Cathedral of Books. It's got 300,000 books. It's
Wow.
huge. It's beautiful. Roseanne, I have access. You have access to 100 million on this thing.
I
I
know
mean,
it.
it's stunning. Now, it's not an either or. I love libraries and so forth, but it's amazing
It's
that
amazing.
we're this is that techno populism. We now can use our own common sense, and we have the tools now to emancipate ourselves from the legacy media and these old bureaucratic institutions. And you're doing it.
I'll tell you, this guy I talked to, I think it was 1996. I went to this dinner with some interesting people, and he had laid the groundwork for Ted Turner's network. There's from Mexico City with satellites. He had done the satellite stuff because I've always been interested in technology and all that. And he was talking. He said, this will be the true renaissance of the world information. And he said, for the first, he was really cool guy, older. He said, for the first time in human history, no church, no state
Wow.
can
Wow.
keep the truth away
Yes.
from the
Right.
people.
Right.
And
Right.
he said, what that will give birth to is, he said, by 50 years from now, there will be no hunger,
Right.
because people will act in for rational self-interest. You can't live in a neighborhood with starving people and walk
Right.
by them. That it would cause like this huge, that's what I feel like we're on our way to, golden
Mm-hmm.
age,
Golden
where
age. Yep.
everybody is aware and doing better and thinking better and being better to
Yep.
good.
Yeah. I mean, Elon's saying it. The future is going to be amazing. I mean, you could just sense it. That's exactly the way it feels. Absolutely. Can we go back into the past a little bit? Speaking of,
Okay.
I
I'm
was.
not going to talk about Tom Arnold. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
You will not have to do that on
If you
this channel. We'll get you next time with that, baby. But
Okay.
I was sharing with Roseanne before the interview that I saw her on her in real time. I guess it was pre-recorded, but in real time on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show back in I believe it was 1985. I was a bit of I was a nerd in high school. I was a classical guitarist. That's how I ended up at Peabody Conservatory of Music in Baltimore. And
I've
I
seen you
practiced.
play. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's harder than it used to be. Let's put it that way.
I get it. I get it.
I I would come home from school and I'd be too tired to practice, so I would sleep like 3, 4, 5 hours, get up, do some homework, and then I'd start to practice. But I'd always take a break to watch the Tonight Show, 11:30 p.m. Right, every night. And I saw your debut. I saw it, and you were wonderful. I remember that, and I never forgot you. Um, so I've been following you since at least the national level from the very beginning. And I was telling you that, one of the things I love about comedy, and it's part of like the Athenian comedy tradition and all that, is the unique way comedians offer social commentary and political insights that only the comedian sees. No one else can do it. Have you reflected on your own unique comedic insights and how they do offer a very unique perspective on our society and our politics and spirituality and culture and the like?
Well, I know I have a certain set of eyeballs that see stuff that only I see. I just always was like that, and the same stuff was always funny to me. Everyday things that people do is really funny to me. The way people think and have two completely different ideas in their head at the same time, and then I don't know, it's just funny. It's just funny to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Nothing makes any sense.
That's the brilliance of it. I don't know where you got the domestic goddess line, but it's just, again, it was I love that. I mean, it's just, again, you're not
Well,
expecting it.
that was from my mom and her friends in Salt Lake City, Utah, when I was a little girl. They had this group and they was reading this book called The Joy of Womanhood by Helen B. Andelin. And that was a book that all the housewives were reading at the time. And one chapter was called How to Be a Domestic
Oh,
Goddess.
that's great.
And
Oh.
they had all these things in there, and I was a smart mouth and a horrible little girl. And so they were saying they were reading out loud, and somebody said, "You." The book said, "Do you want your husband to buy you that new blender? Shake your curls and smile." And it was all this kind of.
Yeah.
I knew it was. So I, even as a girl, so I says, "Why don't you just get a job and buy your own blender?" And oh, they were irate at me.
How could you?
That's kind of my first domestic goddess joke.
I love it. Oh, I love it. But then you
And
also, yeah.
I did get to meet that woman and thank her for letting me steal her.
There you go. That's great. She created a monster and she had no idea. Oh no. But then you had to channel a lot of courage. You and a number of, I mean, I would say just comedians in general, because comedy was under the threat from the woke mob like nothing else. I mean, my heavens, you know that better than anyone, but you stood your ground. Yeah, in many ways, I have to say, Roseanne, I think comedians, and this is so wonderful if you think about it, but those who make us laugh, which is one of the most human qualities. I mean, the more we laugh, the more we flourish as humans. It's such a divine
It
quality
is
within us.
fine.
It,
I
you
think
know,
it's fine. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's divine, exactly. And comedians, the ones who are in touch with that divine spark, as it were, you were on the front lines of the counteroffensive against the woke mob, and it was very hard for a humorless, miserable, pernicious group to be able to fight back against your whimsical laughter and your jokes. And I mean, it's very much like
Good.
Joshua sending the walls down through music.
I thought of all that too, but they did take me down low, and
Yeah.
I felt like God was. I know it wasn't me because I'm not that smart, but I kind of got the message from God, and He said to me, the only way not to lose is you got to fight even harder
Wow.
and smarter. And
Wow.
so I did, and I encourage, I went back to the stage, and I was hanging around with a lot of young comics, and they'd ask my opinion, and I say, you got to be braver now than you've ever been. We got to be more offensive than we've ever feared to be. And I saw it, like I saw them do it, and there's nothing more fun, like I say, than laying the mighty low, especially when they're hypocrites and liars and such. You get the biggest laugh off of that one. You laugh power to scorn, and they can't come back from after everybody's laughed at them. They can never come back. And so that's the weapon that the comedian, the fool, the jester was the only one that could tell the king the truth about himself once a year at the big party. So it is a holy thing that you're able to stare it in the face and then get people to laugh it to scorn. Because that's so top. That's my dad used to say. They say the pen is mightier than the sword, but the joke is mightier than both of them.
I agree and you can't argue with a joke any more than you can argue with a song. It has
Yeah,
its
because
own.
I remember seeing Richard Pryor when I was little, going, "Oh my God, he's taking down an entire institution." I knew it,
Wow. Wow.
and he did.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely. Rosette, do you think we're going through a spiritual reawakening? Do you see that in our nation and perhaps around the world?
Definitely. Yeah, that's the biblical point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely do. And I think it's something uh it's of such a great like a frequency. It's
Yes.
of such great magnitude that it's like a frequency. It's above or greater than religion even.
Yeah.
It's a harmony, and it's just something like I sometimes say, we're we're growing a new organ of perception,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep. Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
don't
Yeah.
have words, but I feel it in that, just a smile from someone, it tells you so much.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
perceive so much more than you ever thought possible before. It's deepened.
Yes.
Awareness is deepened in all of us, I think. We've
Yeah.
seen so much. We've been through so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and so much darkness. So that the light is looking so beautiful right now and so calm and so inviting, and it's very very similar kind of the Lord of the Rings speech, with Samwise Gamgee telling Frodo, we it's like in those old stories, and they were so dark and they were so dangerous, and you didn't see how anything good could come of this, and yet nevertheless the light did eventually shine again, and it shined all the brighter and all the more beautiful. Those are the stories that define us to get through, right? The only way past it is through it, quite literally. And yeah,
And that's why I'm excited to say, that Hanukkah and Christmas occur on the same day
think that,
this year,
yeah, I saw
which
that.
is really, really uh, a very cool thing. And
It is.
talking about expanding light.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, exactly. The Festival of Lights. Exactly. Yeah. 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 A lot of people don't recognize the Jewish backdrop to so much of, well, virtually all of the New Testament. It's I actually just came across, there's a second century text. It's originally Jewish text. I think Christians redacted it around the second century AD, called the Life of Adam and Eve. And
Oh, I
Adam and Eve.
just heard about that too.
Yeah. Oh, it's so brilliant. It's so wonderful. Um and it and when Adam and Eve are exiled, God gives them three things to remember the garden by: gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which is so cool. You're like, whoa,
Wow.
this is neat. So you're seeing all of these very Jewish themes coming back into the world of the New Testament, and it's magnificent. It's glorious. It's just it's so rich and beautiful, and
Well,
I
I
it
think it's in Judaism. the time of the ingathering.
Mm.
Everybody, coming back to source, and we're all not that different, really.
Right, right. Yeah, it just seems like the secular age, the age of the
Yeah,
machine and managerialism that's
right,
cold and
right.
stale, it's dying away, and there's a springtide of life and civilization coming back. And you see, I mean, globalist regimes are collapsing like
I
freaking
love it. Isn't it
everywhere. You
great?
could yeah, I know you follow. It's nuts. I mean, Trudeau's just hanging by a thread, and the French government's collapsed. The far left German government's collapsed. I just read they're calling what's her Giorgia Meloni of Italy the queen of Europe because she's the only one who actually has a really high approval rating. All the other members of the G7, their governments are all falling apart. You're seeing it with Nayib Bukele in El Salvador and Javier Milei in Argentina. It really does feel like a golden age. It really does.
Well, it's like a return of common sense
Yeah.
center. These extremists on every side, what they tried to do, and were successful, it seems, for a time, they marginalized the vast middle. And how do you do that and survive? But they did. But I knew the center can't hold when you do stuff like that. So that's why I, may have seen it differently than other people. But you can't you can't do that and survive. It can't go anywhere. And it ends up in the dustbin of history where it belongs. And, the vast middle learned a lot watching both extremes and said, we want none of it. We don't want Stalinism and we don't want fascism. We want liberty and personal liberty.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you just to tie it all up? What are you looking most forward to with this new Trump administration and his dream team cabinet and also what are you most concerned about? What still concerns you about maybe Mordor continuing to exercise a little influence in the world?
I think Trump knows, that rabbi I told you about, Rabbi
Mhm.
Kesset? He
Yeah.
asked somebody to ask Trump at I got to leave my hair alone, at a press conference. He asked somebody to ask Trump, why do you think God spared your life? Because Trump said that, he feels that God saved him. And so Trump said, I want you to ask that question again. I want you to ask it louder.
Wow.
And so he did. And Trump's answer was, maybe it was to that I can be part of saving the world. And
Yeah.
that's a huge,
Yeah.
huge thing. And so I think he knows what he's here for.
Yeah.
And he isn't going to be fooled again, I don't
Right.
think. And he knows how it works now. And he surrounded himself with so many brilliant people. It's just like, wow, this is just, we're living in, these are the best of times.
It's a dream team. It's amazing. They canceled I mean, I think that's Brett Weinstein's phrase. They canceled everybody, yourself included. I've been partly canceled. They've canceled it. And what have they done? All they've done is created this dream team. They have a brain drain. They're the most incompetent people on the planet right
On the
now. And
planet.
all the competence is by God's grace is all moved to, like you're saying, to the center, the sensible center, and is ready now to go to the next stage, as it were, the next chapter.
Well, I think, I think God builds people up sometimes so people will see them knocked down.
Mm, right.
God makes people
Yes.
powerful, uh, so that people will organize, unite, and get rid of them and
Yeah.
realize their power. And
That's
I
right.
think, that's what happened. We went, okay, I'm going to have to get off the couch and do something.
Right.
And it was time that that happened, and we did it. And
We did it.
congratulations, America. You won.
You
You
won.
won for your children and your grandchildren, everybody else's grandkids and kids. you did the right thing. You chose good. And now we're going to see what happens as a result of that. And I think it's going to be fantastic.
I
And
do.
I look forward to going to Mar-a-Lago, see all my friends down there. And I love to dance and, I love to dance down there. It's really a fun place to dance.
Oh, that,
Everybody
yeah.
kind of old, so you don't have to.
That's right. If you want to feel young, hang out with old people, right?
Yeah, really, no kidding.
Well, that's a little twist on Rodney Dangerfield. I think if you want to feel thin, hang out with fat people.
Yeah, that's true. But everybody's so nice down there, and I've just had a blast down there. Everyone is so nice,
Yeah.
and I like Florida. I hope they fix it.
Yeah, keep it red. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they should. It looks like it was teetering for a while on finally turning red, but it always kind of frustrated you. It stayed purple and it voted for Obama twice, if I recall. And then finally something DeSantis did right yeah, it happened. It just literally, what was it, 2022? He got that 20-point win. And then
Yeah.
that was, when he got reelected. And then, I wish he didn't run against Trump. I think that was like the biggest political mistake he could have possibly
Well, I
made.
think Trump used him to play the stooge.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
See,
Yes.
I'm always looking behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
Well, there you go. There's that wisdom. That's right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
That
know,
makes sense,
Trump
actually.
plays 5D chess or
He
even
does.
6D chess.
There you-
I'm waiting for all the D class. That's going to be so
oh, butter the popcorn for
oh,
that.
that's
Oh
gonna be
my,
fun.
cash bringing it all out. And
Oh my gosh.
can,
America, whoever isn't red now will be then.
that's right. Can you imagine just how the incredible justice of that with Robert Kennedy, a Kennedy coming back to DC and the executive branch seeing his uncle's and I'm sure his father's file made fully public. It's unbelievable. Just the way it all came full
Yep.
circle. Absolutely
It's
amazing.
biblical.
It's
That's
biblical. It is cosmic. We have links down below to your website, your podcast. Where else? Is there any place you want people to go to keep up with all things Roseanne?
Well, I got a Twitter, the real Roseanne, and
Hmm.
I got, the Roseanne Barr podcast, wherever they have podcasts. And, I got all those other things, Instagram and all that, where everybody goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I have to
Okay.
have my son help me operate it all. But, I like encouraging people and telling them to have heart. We can't give up. I would say, we can't give up after all we've been through, because not now, not after we're so close to winning. And now it's like we can't give up now that we won, because
That's
now we
right.
have to do the real work to
That's
get
right.
this stuff on the road, to get it working for the kids. Got to
That's
get
right.
better schools. That's
That's right.
something I'm very interested in. I intend to stay interested in.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was in classical education for 18 years where students studied the great canonical works of literature and great music and art, and we talked about the great Greek comedies and so on, and they
They
learn
should be doing stuff like that.
absolutely. I mean, because it
They're talking about
awakens
their
that moral imagination. Yeah, yeah,
they have them so disheartened and so uh full of self-doubt on every level. That's how they like them.
yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
is a war on children. That's the one I'm most happy that we won, because I've known that it was a war on children for a long, long time. And I've been active in that regard for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that America stood up for children and for women and for all working people and everything good.
Yes, amen. Yeah. Yeah, it is as we wrap up, it is interesting how Satan always seems to attack children, doesn't he? But ironically before a great act of God, a great, so I'm thinking of
That's
You know,
true.
the Pharaoh killing the children before the great Exodus, or Herod killing the children before,
Right.
you know, the ministry of Christ. And it's
Right.
yeah. Gang, make
Yep.
sure to click on the link below. Keep up with Roseanne's latest podcasts. Also, make sure to check out our sponsor, shopbeam.com. Huge shout out to them for sponsoring
Yum
this
yum.
video. Roseanne, they sponsor both of us. Roseanne uses that dream. What is it? Beam Dream.
Drink.
That will knock you out if you have a hard time sleeping. I'm telling you, this is your solution. You're going to absolutely love it. So click on that link below and enjoy all the special discounts we have for you. And Roseanne, I meant every single word I said at the beginning. When we left Mar-a-Lago that night, the highlight of my evening was not meeting President Trump. That was wonderful. The highlight of my evening was meeting you. And I
Oh,
can't
that
thank
is
you
so
enough.
sweet. That's so
No,
sweet. I really appreciate
I
that.
just
Thank
can't thank you enough for everything you've done. And you know, you've been a champion, a populist champion when it wasn't popular, and you've done it in the midst of a very hostile audience where you are. And so thank you for that. Thank you for taking your stand. And I should say right back to you, congratulations. You did it. We won.
Well, I didn't want to do it, but God made me, so I have to listen to him, you know. He's like, "Get out there. Get out there." Okay.
Well,
But,
Moses didn't want to
you
do
know,
it either.
but I so enjoy your show, watch you all the time, and it's been wonderful to be with you too.
Thanks, Roseanne. Let's have you back soon. We'd love to
I
have you
love
back.
it. You
Oh,
gotta
thank
you
you.
gotta come and let me pick your brain too.
We'll do it. We'll
All
do it.
right.
All right. God bless, Roseanne. Thank
God
you.
too.